Hi, good morning friends. On 15 December 2022, a video went viral showing the world's costliest 5th generation fighter F-35B Lightning, which crashed during the vertical landing at a Naval Air Station in Texas.
Oh, he just crashed. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
The F-35 Joint Strike Fighter family includes 3 different variants, and all of them are single-seat fighters. The F-35A is a conventional takeoff and landing variant. The F-35B is a short takeoff and vertical landing variant, and the F-35C is an aircraft carrier variant. The most expensive defense project of F-35 stealth fighter was to design an aircraft for a very specific service requirements while taking the advantage of common parts and processes of 3 different variants. And the result was F-35A, which is designed to operate from conventional runways and is the most common variant. The United States Air Force and the majority of F-35 international allied customers operate the F-35A. Whereas F-35B can land vertically like a helicopter and take off in a very short distance. This allows it to operate from short field bases and a range of air-capable ships. The F-35B is operated by the United States Marine Corps, the United Kingdom, and the Italian Air Force. The third variant, F-35C, is the Navy's first stealth fighter and the world's only 5th generation long-range stealth strike aircraft, designed and built mainly for aircraft carrier operations. The F-35C is operated exclusively by the Department of the US Navy. The F-35C is said to have more robust landing gear for carrier-based operations, folding wings to fit on a packed flight deck, larger wings, a somewhat greater payload capabilities, and a slightly longer operating range. Designing a short takeoff and vertical landing aircraft like F-35B adds enormous offensive and defensive capabilities to the fleet. This is what makes relatively small carriers or assault ships being more cost-effective compared to bigger conventional carriers lacking similar aircraft fleet. So leaving the two, let's look at the specific design features of F-35B before we move on to see what could have been the most probable cause of the accident. F-35B must not be confused with the vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, but it is a short takeoff and vertical landing aircraft to be more precise. Generally, these aircraft don't perform vertical takeoff, as this consumes a lot of fuel, and also the jet can only take off with maximum 50% of the fuel due to various limitations. So in reality, even the shortest strip of runway, including the one on an amphibious assault ship, is enough to launch F-35B. Once again on return, when the fuel is already low on the aircraft, they can easily land vertically in most restricted landing pads. The special feature to launch a fully loaded aircraft from the short airstrip gives a tremendous advantage to an aircraft carrier, which is not required to be huge and also does not require a complex catapult launch equipment. For the shortest possible takeoff, the F-35B uses the main lift fan in front, which is operated by a shaft drive from the main F-135 engine. The top section of main lift fan is opened just before takeoff, and the sucked-in air is directed at high speed through the underbelly doors to lift the aircraft. And gradually, as the forward speed is built up, along with a change in the rear thrust vectoring nozzle, the main lift fan is disengaged through a clutch mechanism. Just behind the lift fan is an auxiliary air intake doors, which are also open during the takeoff and landings. The rear thrust vectoring nozzle with the swivel mechanism turns vertically down for vertical takeoff and landing. On either side of the wing, there are roll post ducts, which have jet engine bleed ducts with a nozzle to provide lateral stability during low speed and hover. So if we look at the special design of the whole aircraft, it is full of open ducts and big doors, including the landing gear and weapon base doors. The aircraft, when operating under high ambient temperature, is also subjected to thermal stresses and vibrations when operating close to the ground. High altitude operation with low density of air further reduces the takeoff performance. F-35 is not just about short takeoff and vertical landing, but about a force multiplier, which carries advanced sensors and weapon systems that makes it most stealthy fifth generation fighter. Such a complex platform, when put into real operations, is also required to be reliable and pilot-friendly. Naval operations or vertical landings are already most demanding maneuvers and require a very careful handling. Unlike a conventional aircraft or a helicopter, when an aircraft like F-35 is lifted off vertically or attempts to land, there is a lot which happens with the airflow below the belly. During hot climatic conditions, the hot engine air gets deflected from the close proximity to the ground, creating an adverse condition. And due to any reason, if anything goes wrong, there's nothing to support the aircraft, as it's almost a dead weight. So on a single engine, emergency failure will always be serious. Whereas nearly a 80-ton aircraft like the Airbus A320, when had both the engines failure due to bird hit, its wings could still support the weight of aircraft as it glided down to make a perfect landing in Hudson River. The helicopters are lifted and supported by a large disc of main rotors. During an engine emergency, it can make a safe landing by auto rotation of the rotor blades, but same is not true for the F-35. If we look carefully at this video, the most unusual thing is the aircraft bounce on impact. In this case, the bounce was so strong that aircraft got airborne after touchdown by some feet, and that is generally not seen in any similar landings. I have placed links of nearly 10 videos showing almost 50 plus landings, wherein the moment wheels hit the ground, the aircraft fully settles on the landing pad without any bounce back. So as per the video, after the first impact, when the wheels made a contact with the ground, everything looked normal and working fine. After the bounce and a fraction of a second, things changed, resulting in the crash. So this could be a simple judgmental human error as visible from the video, or otherwise something to do with the aircraft controls, including the computer controlling the jet nozzle operations. However, the phase when aircraft is very close to ground, the air underbelly is already causing a lot of reactive forces, which demands that such an aircraft, which is controlled by the engine thrust, is put down in just a single attempt without giving an opportunity to bounce back and further getting in an awkward situation as happened in this case. After any such bounce back, if it results in shifting the jet focus point or the quantum of the engine gases hitting the ground, same will eventually imbalance the aircraft in longitudinal axis. The video showing BAE Systems test pilot, the man who performed the first ever shipborne rolling vertical landing, clearly demonstrates that it is all about rate of descent and speed, which has to be accurate. The link of video is placed below. The Air Force is all about air, a medium which is never visible, but a lot happens above the wing and below the belly. Fighter flying has always been a risky business, and there have been a total of 5 deadly crashes involving the F-35 since 2014. This was the 6th one such accident involving a F-35B. Engineers will keep designing and experimenting with aircraft like the Concorde, AN-225, Maria, or the F-35 Lightning, as that's the demand of time and specific need of special operations where the project cost and risk will always be high. From the point of concept and what it can deliver, F-35 is a great engineering marvel and shall remain in limelight, like its name, the Lightning.